Do you value music education? Hi, I'm Felipe Drago and welcome to Drago Drums. The question is, I said music education, but more specific, drumming education. I came across this question to myself, if people are valuing education, because of the posts I see on social media. It's an astonishing number of people asking, how do I get better at this? How do I learn this? How do I get faster? What is this? How do I understand that? And nobody talks about education. People give advice like, practice this exercise, practice that other exercise, but they don't value education. They don't say, try this book, try that other book, and most importantly, try a teacher. Teachers are very important, still very important, because which videos are you going to watch on YouTube? Do you know who's giving the right information, who's not giving the right information? And I'm not talking about scammers. I'm just saying people who think they have the right information, but they don't. There are very few channels that have the right information. There are tons of information on YouTube, and it's great. I'm here. Hence, I'm here because I love it. I think it's amazing. But YouTube has many faults. First, it doesn't say which is good, which is bad. They just accept the content. Second, if there's an exercise, if there's a lesson on YouTube, the person who gave that lesson cannot see you practicing, and a teacher can. A teacher can direct you, say, this is the exercise I'm doing, and these guys on YouTube, they're doing really well, so look at these guys doing these exercises. And then the following week when you come for the lesson, for the next lesson, the teacher can see you playing and say, yeah, this is right, this is not correct here, this is great, this is not so great. There's an obvious evolution. So I have here a bunch of books. I didn't even count. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And these 13 books, funnily enough, these 13 books are not even half of the books you will need to have a good drumming education. But people don't know that because people don't look for teachers anymore. They think that the YouTube and the internet has all the answers. Sometimes, but they have usually generic answers. A teacher, for example, will take this book, Stick Control, the most influential drum book of all times, and show you many different ways to explore this book, making you not only a good drummer, but a great drummer. And also, besides that, it's going to look at your technique and tell you how to practice the book, how to hold the sticks, how to move, and all of that, and motivate you to go through the book, because it starts kind of easy, but gets complicated very soon. And a good teacher is a good motivator that's gonna give you the right tools to go through it. You will feel the teacher's passion, and that's gonna influence you to have your own passion and achieve your goals. Stick Control by George Lawrence Stone, the most influential book of all times in drumming education. Accents and Rebounds, the second book by George Lawrence Stone. A great book. And this book was inspired by a student. The great Joe Morello was George Lawrence Stone's student, and because he was bored of doing stick control over and over and over, he started writing some accents on the exercise. Mr. Stone asked Morello, what is that? Why are you doing that? He said, and Mr. Stone said, well, you know what? I'm going to write the book Accents and Rebounds. And there you go. So a student inspiring a teacher to write a new book. Another very important book, Syncopation by Ted Reed, the second most influential book of all times. First, Stick Control. Second, Syncopation. Third book, most influential, Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer by Jim Shaping. These three books, they are the basis of drumming education. And I will explain why. I used to write for the Brazilian branch of Modern Drummer magazine, and once I had the opportunity to interview Steve Smith, and in the conversation he was telling me that when he started playing drums in the early 60s, there were only 3 books. These 3: Syncopation, Stick Control, and Advanced Techniques for the Modern Drummer. And the teachers had to teach everything there was about drumming with only those 3 books. So they had to explore the books to find many different ways of using those books to teach everything there was about drumming. And one of the most influential teachers of that time is this guy here, Alan Dawson. And this is his book, which is The Drummer's Complete Vocabulary as Taught by Alan Dawson, written by John Ramsey, one of Alan's best students. So this is another must-have book. Future Sounds. This book is by David Garibaldi. It's probably one of my favorite books of all times. And it's heavily influenced by stick control and accents and rebounds. And it's, let's say, for funk. Master Studies. There's Master Studies and Master Studies 2 by Joe Morello, another very important book. The continuation of Accents and Rebounds is the sequel to Accents and Rebounds, this time written by the person who inspired Mr. Stone to write Accents and Rebounds. This is, you can check by the state that I use this book a lot, and it's a great book. New Breed by Gary Chester. This is a book that changed the world and changed drumming. It's one of the most influential books of all times. Any beginner drummer in the 80s had lessons with this book, Realistic Rock by Carmine Appice. This is a must-have. This is all about drumming education. Modern Text Reading in 4/4 by Louis Belson and Gil Brines. Okay, so an amazing, important reading book to read music. 4-Way Coordination, Marvin Dahlgren and Elliot Fine. This book is half of the reason why Terry Bozzio is who he is. The reason Terry Bozzio is who he is 2 books: Stick Control and 4-Way Coordination. So he kind of put together these 2 books, and then he became Terry Bozzio. So there you go. See the importance of drum education. Buddy Rich's Snare Drum Rudiments, another very important book. And a modern classic, Groove Essentials by Tommy Igoe, a play-along book. There's Groove Essentials 1.0 and 2.0, many different styles, many genres of music, odd meters, fusion, jazz, rock, pop, R&B, hip-hop, world music, Latin groups. In these 2 books, there's all kinds of play-alongs with charts, with explanation, with everything. So education. But all of this by themselves, this is just a book, right? Meaning, can you hear anything? No. It's very important not only have the book, but have a teacher that's going to guide you through this book. We are living now in a world pandemic when people are not allowed to leave their houses, or at least are recommended to stay at home. And it has been proved that you can do basically anything online. So you can have drum lessons online. So that old excuse that many people used to have, oh, I live in a small village, that there's no drum teachers around, the nearest drum teacher is 100 miles away, that's not a problem anymore. Now you can have drum lessons with anyone, anywhere in the world. If you want to have a specific lesson with a teacher, you live in Indonesia and the teacher is in the US, that's fine. You know, for years I had lessons with Don Famularo. I live in London, he lives in New York, United States. The greatest drummers have lessons continually. Neil Peart, who died recently, unfortunately. He had lessons even when he was already world famous in influencing and had influenced millions of drummers all over the world. Same thing for Dave Weckl, same thing for Steve Smith, same thing for Vinny Colaiuta. There's never an ending, because it's not about, a teacher doesn't have to be a better drummer than you. A teacher has to be somebody who has more experience than you and can guide you to achieve goals that you cannot achieve by yourself. I always use this analogy with some of my students is Usain Bolt, the fastest man on earth. He had a trainer, he had a coach. Was the coach faster than him? No, because Bolt was the fastest man, still is, because nobody broke his record, but let's say when he was still active, he was the fastest man on earth, but he had a coach. If the coach was faster than Bolt, the coach would run, right? But this is the thing, the coach couldn't run as fast as Bolt, but knew how to guide Bolt to become who he was. So a teacher is very important. I know you're saying, well, of course you think a teacher is important because you are a teacher. Yes, and I became a teacher because I think it's important, and I always valued drumming education. I always had lessons. I cannot remember a period of time when I didn't have a lesson at all. I never stayed more than 2 years without a drum lesson. I always had drum lessons. Sometimes just to exchange information. Sometimes just to be sure that what I was doing was okay. And that's great. So think about this. Instead of going to groups on Facebook and other social media asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? Ask the question, where can I find a good teacher who's going to guide me? And then the transformation will start, I guarantee. Okay? Subscribe to the channel, press on the bell to get notifications when the new videos are in. There are a bunch of videos that I already did about drum technique. Check them out. They're good, but they're not amazing because I cannot see you practicing. I can give you the information, but I cannot know how you're receiving. That's why you need a teacher. See you on the next video. Bye.